Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Hello, everybody. You might notice Rick is gone again. He's become so unreliable.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's doing all them family things. It's his son's birthday, so he's doing
yeah,
a celebration and birthday party and doing all that kind of good stuff.
yeah. He has 3 birthdays a year just so Rick can make us work.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're recovered from the holidays. Man, it's been a slog to get back to work for me, and it's just I have my zeal for getting things going is it's taking a while to get it back up and running. But hopefully this week. Let's start with the list here. Hey Tony, it seems like a new name. Are you new today, Tony?
Fish Lake, Indiana. There's Rick. Yep.
Yeah. Hey Rick.
McPhil 3D. Of course, with the name on that, it might be new or it might be not. But
Yeah, it's hard to tell anymore. What else we got here? Hey, Santa's back. Uh, as I said, it's been kind of a slow week. I actually have 3 3D printers to do, and the Alien Cell X1 should arrive. My second one. The first one got seized by customs.
oh,
Again, second time I've had a laser seized by customs. But this one got through. So they didn't do the right paperwork. That's the problem. But it's there now, so should get it
there's
the next day or so.
Chris from down under. Oh,
Hey,
good
Chris.
day.
Who's now welcoming Tony and Santa?
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Portland, Oregon.
Ordinary Woodworkers back. ABM Marketing. ABM is back. AB Marketing, I guess. What else we got? What's up? What's up? Well, we're back to work.
Yeah, working on it.
He's done his rounds for the other channels.
Yep.
I'm saying hi.
Howdy, howdy.
What else we got? Kevin, I like how he says "good day." He spells it like he says it. All right, let's see if we can get to something else here. Radu's back.
Well, I'll pass on a little message. A lot of our viewers sent me condolences because they heard about the passing of my wife on December 21st, and I really appreciate that.
Tough times. Condolences for all of this. It's not a good time of year to make it happen, but we get a chance for the new year. Yeah. Hopefully we get a chance at a new year. First couple of days have been pretty rough in the world.
Oh, Phil said he's not new, so it's the way they tag the names now. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick is MIA because his son Ricky, little Ricky, has a birthday today, so he's doing whatever. I don't know, maybe one of them places with the crappy pizza and the puppets and. Trying to remember what that's called.
And you would know this was his 6th birthday if you were subscribed to our Facebook group, and you'll see it scrolling along the bottom there. It's the let's wait for it. It's after Roger's name, I think. There, join our Facebook group. www.shoptalklive.club. It's actually just a website pointer to a Facebook group. So go there if you haven't become a member already.
Feel free to post whatever you want. We're not in competition with anybody. We want to see what your work is and what you do and everything. Yeah. So
if you got a neat project or you've got some things you're selling that you're proud of, post
those. Or if you've got a major failure you want to show off, we're always good.
Speaking of major failures, over the holidays, I was printing something on the H2D. And I mean, you have lots of these bamboo lasers, or 3D printers, they're pretty reliable. Yeah. So I start the job, it starts working, I go for lunch. I come back in an hour, and the entire dual nozzle setup at the bottom is invisible because it's surrounded by an ink clot.
Oh, you got
Or
a glob.
by a filament plug. It took me about an hour to get it removed, and I actually saved it. It's this brick about this big that I put on my shelf. And in the end, I lost a hot end. I had to replace the hot end.
Well, I had a little oopsie on my Anycubic S1 last week, printing a basic thing I printed, I don't know how many times. I just set it and let it run and come down the next morning. And I had the biggest mass of spaghetti in that printer.
I would have been happy with spaghetti.
Yeah. Yeah, well, spaghetti's a lot better than a glob. I hate them.
Yeah.
Oh.
This big filament clog was my fault, actually. I had just done it popped up a message, it pops up the message to say, hey, it's time to do some maintenance. And I clearly put a drop of oil on the build plate. And even though I took some alcohol and I scrubbed it off after, I guess it was, once it's there, it's hard to get off. So, yeah. So
well, that's one thing I do when I'm doing the maintenance stuff on my bamboo printers. I take the build plate clear out.
Yeah, well, I will from now on. All things considered, the reason it popped up the message was because I have 1,000 hours on that printer already, from the end of September to, well, just before Christmas. And I'm pretty impressed, actually, that both it handled that, except for that one problem, completely problem-free. But I did it in that amount of time. It's basically been running 24/7. But now I have the H2C, so now I have that one gets a break every now and again.
Did you buy the extra hot end, or did you get the extra hot ends to completely load the H2C?
Yeah. So, well, it comes with a 0.2 and a 0.6 as well. So it's like 3 0.4s and then a 0.2 and a 0.6.
I bought extra 0.4. Of course, I had to buy mine.
Yeah, I have 6. Well, there's always one in the extruder, but I have 6 0.4s in there now.
Yeah, that's what I've got going on.
Yeah. Now, what I'm discovering is I don't print a lot of color, but what I'm discovering is it's a great way to. I print different colors, but I don't print multicolor things very often. It's a great way to have quick tool changes for printing things in different colors. It still does a quick purge, but it remembers, as long as you don't turn the printer off, it remembers what filament was in a particular nozzle before. Yeah. So I use it more for that, just for pick a hot end off the shelf that was printing orange before and use that again, and you get quicker starts.
Well, I did one. I just set up my H2C today. It came a while back, but I was otherwise occupied. But my first print was this 3-color benchy right here. So, and I've got a 4-color pontoon boat printing on it right now, just playing with it. It's one of the addictive things with H2C is when you first get it is you got to watch that tool change. It's just like you're just staring at it. And this is so cool.
Yeah, when you see it in videos, it looks like a mechanical nightmare. But when you tell it to like refresh the nozzles, so it basically rebuilds the nozzle table, and you watch it go through all the nozzles, it's like artwork. Like, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to some feedback here. You get your USA flag. No, Tim. I won't get into the politics of that, but you guys are in a mess, and that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Condolences all around.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim. Missed you guys. Got a question. He's being told that Lightburn and under Galvo, under the Galvo settings in Lightburn, there's a whole shapes if possible. Yeah. Where is it? It's in, once you go to the Galvo window, there's a button there that you can click and it brings up another dialog box. I forget what it is though. And you can click that in there, I think. I'll find it for you anyway, Jim, and I'll send it to you. I haven't run Lightburn in weeks.
Well, ordinary woodworker, thank you.
Yeah, Rick's gone to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese. That's probably where Rick's hanging out tonight, having really crappy pizza and warm beer.
Sorry, I had to hack out a lung. South Milwaukee. Hey, David. Hey, Velf is here. Chris is saying hi. Oh yes, he is right there. He was the Chuck E. Cheese comment.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese.
The blob of death. Yeah, I looked at it for a long time, and I thought, like, how much of my printer is destroyed by this?
I had one it's probably been a month ago now on one of my A1s, and it's still sitting over there just hanging with what's left of the hot. I got to replace the whole extruder on it. I really crapped that one up.
Yeah, I looked at, like, I as I was looking at it, I noticed that there were, the thermistor wires that come down off the back of the extruder. They were embedded in plastic, and they're really small. They're like 30 gauge wire. Like, they're tiny. I was pretty sure I was gonna snap those or cut them or something, but I did manage to get them out of there. It was a harrowing experience, and I could heat the hot end, but that doesn't heat all the rest of it. So I was literally, basically in there very gently with a heat gun, trying to very precisely melt particular spots so I could pull them out. It was terrifying, but surprisingly, all I lost was the hot end.
Well, Baker 12, thank you.
Elf says, I want to be like you guys when I grow up. I don't know what that means, because I'm still growing up, at least, according to people around me.
Well, me, I'm an official geezer, so.
Yeah, well, I am too, but I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Yeah, it's, I think I want to do a video on not using just a single tool, like what it takes to build like a real customer project. And, because I have projects where I use laser, 3D printer, CNC, sometimes a table saw. It's just like it's just crazy the process you have to go through to build something that's pretty intricate. So it's fun. It's what makes it fun.
Okay, so Santa's laser engraving saying, okay, now that I'm starting down the 3D rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a couple of things you did there.
Starting my F2 portable journey, first 3D question is the various filaments. What is the moisture absorption for each one out of the dryer? Try to keep your filament under 10%.
Yeah.
Whether it be PLA or PETG or ABS or PS or ABS, try to keep it under 10%.
Yeah, I think he has I think it's an Anycubic. I don't know. Does their heat for their AMS tell you what the humidity and all that stuff is?
With my new AMS2, I haven't put the humidity gauge up on that one yet. I just set it up
No,
today.
but you have an Anycubic printer, right?
Yeah, and I've got it's got the built-in dryer, and I've got
And
a
it
humidity
tells you what
gauge
the
on it.
humidity is, I assume.
Yeah, I keep it, let me look. Okay, the humidity inside the um, ACE Pro or whatever, the filament feeder is, it says 10%. Because the humidistat
Yeah.
won't go any lower than that. Our ambient humidity right now is 28%.
28.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty dry. Although I noticed in my workshop the other day it was 36.
Yeah,
For I don't know how. Like I don't know how it gets that because it's 100% humidity outside.
Yeah, we're pretty dry here in the wintertime.
Yeah, well, we seem to be, but I mean, it's just been crazy dry. We had a bit of snow, and today it rained and melted it all again. So we're back down to green grass.
Well, it was actually it's 46 now. It was up to 54 here today.
Yeah, we're supposed to get somewhere up and around that range later in the week, Wednesday or Thursday or tomorrow. Might be tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, Velphus, I was trying to figure out how to say that without making it sound like I'm calling you old. I am old.
Yeah, once you work for the government full time, you're
Yeah.
Tim leaving a subtle comment. I might actually have something for you, Tim, coming up. If you want a resin printer, let me know because I'm working on one of those. And I don't do a lot of resin work, although I've made a couple of interesting things as part of the review I'm working on for that printer.
Well, like this saying, I'm young deficient. I got to remember that phrase. I'll use that one when I'm bartending. I'll say, hey, I'm just young deficient, so be patient.
So as I'm going through these, of course, if you have actual real questions, feel free to ask those. Laser, CNC, 3D printers, pretty much, how to sharpen a saw blade. I mean, one of us will have some experience on it. Elf, I assume he meant Velf. You're referring to the young guys compared to me. Yeah, I'd like to think I'm still one of the young guys, but the government tells me otherwise. There you go. That typo, the elf typo, makes it look like you work for Santa.
Waverly, Iowa. Oh, that's not too far from me.
No, he's using another elf.
Yeah.
I just got a delivery. Jim says, I just got a delivery of paper coasters from Canada. 2 days shipping and 60% less than Amazon. There you go.
Yeah.
That's because we have all the trees.
Yeah, you have to grow old, not grow up. Yeah, that's true.
This is the state I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, David, thank you.
Support from the guys. Oops, where'd that go? Trader Skillers Anonymous. How can you be anonymous if you're a Trader Skiller? Good evening, everyone. Better late than never. Hope everyone's doing great. Well, better now that Christmas is over. Although I enjoyed my time off. Oh, it's a Flash Forge. That's right. Didn't I hear that Flash Forge is going out of business? Or was that just some goofy Facebook rumor?
I think that was one of them internet rumor things.
I don't trust anything on the internet anymore.
Yeah.
I look on Instagram, and almost every reel on there is fake. Like it doesn't matter what they are. It could be somebody walking down the street, and it's AI generated. It's like,
yeah,
just go walk down the street. So I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of Instagram, I think.
Oh, Skylar. And again, Skylar, thank you so much. for the box you made for my late wife. It was just absolutely beautiful.
Very nice gesture, Skylar. Kevin's asking, would the call marker B4 20 watt be good for doing tumblers? Sure. 20 watt. I mean, it'll be slow because 20 watts not a lot of power.
The biggest thing is if you got to have a good rotary.
Yeah, the rotary is probably a bigger deal than the laser.
Yeah.
Avoid the ones that are just literally a stepper motor on a with a wheel on it. There's some good ones out there. If we haven't had the robo, geez, man, I'm not back to work yet. What's that rotary Rotoboss? He comes on quite often, but Rotoboss is the one most people will gravitate to if they're doing volume tumblers. But that one's not a low price. Sorry, avalanche over on the other side of my studio here. I'm trying to think what's good in that price range. For comm mark, well, comm markers is okay, but it's not. Yeah, it'll get by. If you don't want to make 1,000 tumblers, you're probably okay with the one from comm marker. Oh, a B4. So they do have a couple of. I have one of their rotaries, one of comm marker's rotaries. I don't know which one it is though. It's the second one up, I think. You can tell I do a lot of rotary work, right? It's the black one with the round thing on it.
I do very little rotary work, so
yeah,
I've got a couple of them. I just don't do it. Now, Chris says 54. LOL, last few days have been around that number, but in Celsius. Holy crap, that's summertime in Australia.
Yeah. That's summertime on the sun.
Yeah. Okay, Ordinary Woodworker says, can either of you please explain 3D printing issues for filament not being dry enough? I've never dried my filaments. I've only had a couple of issues many years. The biggest thing you will get if your filament has moisture in it is blisters. Or the filament will snap. PLA, when it gets heavily laden with moisture, it'll be so brittle, it'll snap.
Yeah, you can normally feel it before you even put it on the printer.
Yeah.
Just grab the end and bend it, and if it snaps pretty easily, then. But once you're printing it, blistering, you can get stringing. Now, if you're printing mostly PLA is not nearly as bad for moisture as, say, PETG or
nylon's really bad. You got to have nylon really
TPU.
Dry. Yeah.
Like you can stumble through with pretty moist PLA, and it'll still print okay. It prints better when it's dry, of course, but if PETG gets damp, and it will after, like if it's humid outside, 2 days and it'll be just completely soaked, and it'll just make a mess. But yeah, I mean, part of it depends where you live too. If you live in Arizona, well, you're probably not going to have a lot of moisture problems. Or
if you live down south, like Gulfport, Mississippi, or something, you're going to have moisture problems.
Or if you live in Australia and it's 54 Celsius.
Yeah.
Your bigger concern is, does the filament melt? You have to put it in a cooler. Oh, I lost where we were. Oh, there we are. Okay. Yeah, too much AI. I don't know. I'm on the fence with AI. I use it for thumbnails and things now. Once in a while, I'll poke an image in for something, but not too much. I don't know. It's driving me crazy. It's just too much.
I use it for a few designs, but I don't go overboard with it.
Chris says, "Good day, Skylar." I'm not sure how well I did. Kevin has an F1. Yeah, that should be fine. Wait, where was the rest of this question here? Cut marker. Oh, he's got an F1. Yeah, an F1 is not a fiber laser, so if he's going to go to a B4, cut marker B4, talk to Tim Sands on here. He's got my old B4 and he wants to sell it and buy something else now too, something bigger. I have to go to Tim's shop one of these days, and I'll wait till the winter's over now. But he got some. I don't know if he got the one if he got the 3-foot rails for his extension rails for his CNC for his. He's got a Genmitsu CNC Prober XL. But he was asking me a couple of weeks ago about how big a rails can you get? So I pointed out that once you get into like the 3 or 4 foot size, you're getting into the realm of like Onefinities and Shapeokos and stuff. And they kind of come already built. A lot of the A without the I.
It said his laser engraving says knock on wood have the Monport roller rotary. It's a sock filled with rice and have no issues with glass or tumblers.
Yep.
I know somebody that used a sock filled with rice, but he put it in his pants. Is that too much information?
It's only too much information if it's you.
No, it's not. Wasn't me.
Otherwise, it's just a bar story. Yeah, I just tend to use, if it's a tumbler, I'll just fill it with water. Any product announcements that you're really excited about?
Well, I'm still waiting about, from Longer with their e-print, where we're going to go when they get it released. And
so Xtool has their UV printer coming out in Q2. Who else? Is it Elegoo? Who has the Centauri Carbon? That's Elegoo, right?
Yeah.
They're coming out with a Centauri Carbon 2, which I should get, although I know absolutely nothing about it yet. What else is coming? Alien Cells coming out soon. I have one of those. Hopefully. That's the one that got seized. But it should be here this week. What else? The resin printer I'm looking at is the Photon P1. There's been quite a few reviews on that already. It's interesting. It's interesting, but you have to do resin, right, to make it worthwhile.
I have the weak rate Lumos in a box sitting out in the loft. I haven't even opened it up yet.
That reminds me, Algo Laser is coming out with an IR version of the Pixie.
Oh.
And that's probably, I don't know, April. It might be before then. It's probably the end of Q1. So that'll be interesting to see too. The small lasers are still there. I thought they were going to be just a flash in the pan, but quite a few people.
I've turned so many of them down.
Yeah, me too. Quite a few people used my original Pixie Link though, and thank you for that. But so they definitely got some traction. I mean, it's a great first-time laser, right? If you're just getting started, it's safe. It's it's cheap. It's not huge, but it's good enough to get going. Jim says, Ken 13TN, check out ComMarker CO2 Galvo. Yeah, if you want to do tumblers, the CO2 Galvo might be the way to go because, well, that'll work for painted tumblers. If you're doing stainless steel tumblers, like unpainted, that won't be great unless you put Surmark on it. But the nice thing about CO2 lasers, especially on painted tumblers, is once they get through the paint, they just kind of stop. So you don't get a cooked surface underneath the paint once you engrave it off, like you would with a fiber laser, if you're not careful. So good tip from Jim there. Yeah, it might be the R5. I'd have to go look to be positive. They sent me a couple of them. The first one was, I don't know, it wasn't great, and it was the entry level one, and I kind of mumbled about it, and they sent me the next one up. But they do have one above that as well. Chris says he has a 4.4 amp stepper on his rotary.
Oh,
wow. What are you, like engraving cars? So when I use different lasers, I have to remember to change the switches. Yeah, that's a challenge. You really need to decide which laser will become the default. Yeah, so just a cautionary note there. Things like the Omni 1 or the Omni X are pre-wired for like a NEMA 17. Is that true? Well, they're NEMA 23s, and if you use one of the small rotaries with a NEMA 17 motor on it, they get like super hot, and the lifespan of that thing is going to be pretty short because you're pumping a couple of amps through something that's designed to have 1 amp going through it. ABMs, sending you some condolences there, Roger.
Thank you.
Tim's, yeah, it's the Genmitsu 4030 with the 6060 extension rails. Oh, that's not too bad. There's like 2 foot square, so you still have room to walk around in your shop without stepping on your CNC. It's looking at air weight mats. Yeah, I've seen these. I want to get. I've been really thinking of building a vacuum table for my CNC. But I think these air weight things, I think they're small though. I want the whole table to be.
So I'm still on the blue tape and the.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried using, all the, put things in dog holes and turn them tight, and then, the clamps that hang on the side of the material, which it takes me about 3 seconds to hit with a spinning tool bit. The good news is a carbide bit will go right through them. So, and I have the evidence to prove it. And then there was 2. Yeah, well, Rick will be back when he stops.
I'll be back next week.
Jacob B's 3D Creations says he's looking at getting into laser engraving. What are you guys' thoughts on the Falcon A1?
Well, I don't have that one, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, I don't either. I've turned it down about 1 million times. It's as long as you get something that's enclosed, safe. I wouldn't recommend anyone buy an open frame laser right now, and I can't remember if the Falcon is open or not. So I have to go look at it. It is enclosed. Okay. It should be fine. I mean, there's not a huge difference between the actual mechanics of one diode laser versus another. The laser module itself, the beam spot size could be maybe smaller, but 20 watts are usually pretty small anyway. If you're just getting started, buy whatever, because you're going to end up realizing you bought the wrong thing no matter what you buy, and you're going to buy the right thing the second time. And the reason I say that is because every laser has limits. So you're going to find out that if you want to work primarily with acrylic, once you kind of get your feet under you, you may say, I just want to work with acrylic. Well, a diode laser is not the right laser for that. Or if you want to do deep engraving on metal, a CO2 laser is not going to do that. So you're going to learn with a basic diode laser. What you learn is the basic principles of power, speed, and once you kind of get that under control, then you can run pretty much any laser. So if the Falcon A1 is on sale, I'd say go for it. But keep in mind, neither Roger or I have actually used one. So I have used the Falcon. What is it? The Falcon 2? Yes, Falcon 2 Pro. I've had a couple of those, and they work pretty well. They're not my favorite laser, but they're easy to get running in Lightburn, and that's all you care about when you're getting started.
Okay, Ordinary Woodworker says in the Portland, Oregon area where it rains a lot. Yes, it does. Makes sense. I've had PLA break on me often and some bed first layer adhesion issues, but no blistering. I guess time to buy a filament dryer. Yeah.
They're so cheap now.
Yeah. And I got one of my filament dryers set up. Well, it's on a camera range. I can't show it. But I've got a thing I 3D printed that dries out my desiccant beads in it. Works pretty slick.
Yeah, I see some people talk about putting their beads on the build plate and heating the build plate, but
let me go grab the thing out of it because it is pretty cool.
I just put mine in the microwave. But yeah, I'm not surprised that if you live in Portland, you have moisture problems. I live on the other coast, and
it's a little thing, right? Really those are full of desiccant beads, and I just put them in my Sundoe dryer, and in 24 hours, all my beads are dry. So works pretty slick.
Did you make dry pods for your AMS units?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I have. Well, now I have 4 AMSs, and I use those in all of them. And the nice thing is, I can pull the moisture level down to 0.
Yeah.
With fresh beads, and that's when you know things are dry. I got a question for you, Roger. Well, it's not really a question.
Okay. The workshop is in a 10 shed. It's not. Remember to put your PLA jigs away in summer. They would. I don't use PLA for jigs. I use PETG, but yeah.
I've been cleaning out. I had a pile of old PLA, well, old filament, mostly PLA, and I pulled one out, and it was almost brand new, and I dried it, and then I tried to print something with it on the H2D, and when I pulled it off the build plate, it was almost like it was plasticine, like it was really soft and squishy, and it shouldn't have been. It should have been hard. I'm not sure what happened. So that roll disappeared into the great unknown. Like I was actually worried it was just going to plug up the print head, or the nozzle rather, the hot end. And I just said, nah, it's not worth it for $15 for a roll of filament. I might as well just get a new one. So I dispersed with a whole bunch of old filament. Tony says the easiest way to set up absolute coordinates on a CO2 with steel, not aluminum deck.
I wouldn't think they'd make any difference.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean,
And if you're using absolute coordinates, it should make absolutely no difference what your bed's made out of.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. Hmm.
I mean, I use absolute coordinates on a wooden deck, so or on honeycomb or whatever I'm doing, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as it homes, I mean, it's more whatever you're using for limit switches or optical switches would determine the easiest way to set up absolute coordinates. Turn on absolute coordinates, and I think you're good. I don't think it matters what the deck's made out of. Well, I know it doesn't matter.
Any other 3D printers coming that multi-heads like StatMaker? Well, the HTC does.
Yeah, well, it's not quite the same, right? It's not a tool changer. It's a hot end changer. The Prusa, I think, is going to have the index system. It's Bontex index system. They're coming out with a printer with that on it. The Prusa XL also has had like complete tool changers. I don't know. I think the SnapMaker by far has the fastest tool changes, like tool heads.
Yeah.
But the problem with those is you're limited. Strictly speaking, you're limited to 6 colors if you've got 6 heads. That's the one place where something like the H2C clobbers them, right? Because you can have 48 colors if you want. Now, how you get all those AMSs on there, I don't know, but
there's a way to do it, but I don't have the room for that.
Yeah, they gave me a the little buffer box thing that you plug AMSs into, and they all go out and like it's 4 inputs and 1 output.
Yeah, got one of them right here.
Yeah, those things. And that means I could do 16 colors, but I guess you can put multiples of those on, I guess. I don't know. Because they said you can do up to 48 colors.
I'm going with 10. 2 AMSs and 2 HTs. I'm not going any further than that.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 AMSs and an HT on that printer. And it's already overkill for me. Mostly what my AMSs are is on-demand filament storage. So,
yep.
I have black and white and yellow and blue and red and green and a few other colors, and I pick a color and that's what I go with, and I don't have to worry about loading up filament. And it works pretty well. This is an interesting question. The XL laser. Who did a review on one of these? Somebody. Laser 911. I'm trying to be polite. This laser is, to me, looks like an answer looking for a question. It looks overly complicated for no reason at all. And I don't know. I don't think they're getting a lot of traction. I didn't look at their Kickstarter, but at least not recently. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't excite me, honestly. Like I can look at, usually I try to pick lasers that have something new about them. And I looked at this one, but it was like, so you have a traditional gantry, and on the end of it, you have a galvo laser. And it's like, sure, I guess. But it just seems not right to me. And so, I don't know. They haven't reached out to me, and I'm not about to reach out to them. Let's say that.
Yeah, the Lumos had a lot of potential. We were excited to try it out, but have been disappointed. Like I say, I haven't taken it out of the box yet. I know it's what the only thing I will say is they're saying it's like MOPA like. Well, it's not MOPA.
It's just an IR
Yeah,
diode, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna get it out of the box tomorrow and start
If
playing with it.
yeah,
But
if they mean they have the same wavelength as a MOPA laser, sure, because
no,
it's all 1064 nanometers. But I wouldn't call that MOPA like. MOPA to me means you can do color with the thing
yeah.
and on a piece of metal. Chris is asking Tony, or telling Tony, I make about 2-inch L shapes I put in the corner and use as a reference for absolute referencing. Yeah, I have. So on my big CO2 laser, I have just a red dot that runs through the beam path, and that I use as my home.
I do too. Same with mine.
Yeah, and I just
40.
shove it. I just have it set to go down into the front left corner of the honeycomb, and I calibrate it so it's right in that corner. Top left or bottom? I guess. Well, mine's, if you're looking straight down on the workspace, mine would be in the bottom left.
Yeah, mine is too.
If it's an X tool, it's the other direction. It's the top left.
Yeah.
And the X tool's always done that. I'm not sure why, but Skylar asks me, are you going to review any of the one laser RF metal tube lasers? Sure, if they reach out to me. I'm not going to go out of my way. RF lasers are nice for sure. They are cheap. This is basically the one laser is basically like a budget like a Trotec or who are the other guys? The big guys. E starts with E. I can't remember. Their lasers are about 35 grand. They sure. I mean, if you're out there, one laser, yeah, give me a call. But I don't know how much traction they're going to get in the home market because they're too expensive for that market. I know Make or Break has, whether he's got shares in them or something, I don't know, but he's the only one who seems to be reviewing them. I don't know, Skylar, are you getting one of those? You're not doing many reviews anymore, so probably not. Chris says, I always worry that if I had a vacuum hold down, I would stuff up and destroy it with bad math. I like the new Edge mini clamps.
Yeah, my thing is I still stick with the blue tape and the CA glue. And
yep, you don't care if you run over a piece of tape.
Yeah.
It hardly ever breaks tool bits. Chris is asking Tony, it doesn't really matter as long as it's done consistently. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little calibration to get which corner, and if you got a red sight on your CO2, which most of them have, then you should be okay. And Chris gets a thanks.
No, here's one to me. Is that one of your Bamboo Lab going to your left, really quiet? Really, because I got a detailed hearing. Didn't know where it was coming from until I saw it moving. Yes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Bamboo Lab, 5 Bamboo Lab printer running behind me right now. There was evidently a big, lot of people got longer B1 lasers for Christmas and are buying the riser kits for them. And I can't hardly keep up getting them printed. And yes, they are very quiet compared to my old gravity printers.
Yeah, one of the things that impresses me when you do the calibration, it does the noise calibration,
Yeah.
and it starts out noisy, and you can literally hear it get quieter. And when it's happy, you can barely hear the thing moving.
Hello from Indiana.
Which is encouraging because 3D printers used to be really noisy. Even the fans in the bamboo printers are really quiet.
Yeah.
Chris is asking. I guess this is related to my clog. Did you have a roll of TPU mixed up with PLA? No, it was PLA. the block that I pulled out of there is like a big piece of concrete. Like it's hard. It's solid. It's just like a melted. It looks like something that fell from space. It's just this random knot of a piece of plastic. Just the dimensions. I guess that's related to Chris's thing. Steel honeycomb. Yeah, I have steel honeycomb. Most CO2 lasers do. Yes,
Yeah.
this is why I have steel, because you can use magnets on it.
Yeah, a lot of my honeycombs are aluminum, so you can't use magnets.
Yeah, those are for diode lasers, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. They don't ever seem to make honeycombs for CO2 lasers. CO2 must eventually wear it down. Let me see where we are here. Oh, wait, I have to go back one. Tony's calibration right now is a framing square. I have used a framing square, but once I got things square, it wasn't too bad. I assume, Tony, you're talking about if you're in the lower left corner, so 0, 0, and you move the x-axis, is it still on the edge of the honeycomb at the other end? Short answer is it probably doesn't matter a whole lot, as long as it's not out on the frame. But I don't know. I don't ever. I mean, I use absolute positioning, but I never get really that close to the corner. I'm not afraid to waste a little material to avoid uncomfortable engraving or cutting.
Spectrum of Reality is saying I use stainless under my honeycomb, as I do too, instead of wood for a wasteboard. No waste that way, and only small fires if something catches. Yeah, that's true. And a cedar French board catch fire not too long ago. It's dumb. And yes, if you're not watching, cedar can catch fire real easy.
Yeah, it's kindling, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the bottom of my CO2, I just have a piece of steel plate instead of, like, it's MDF, the base, but I put a piece of steel plate over it. And it's because I can cut or I can engrave something, I don't know, 1.5 feet in there. It's by the time the beam hits the floor of the laser, it's so out of focus, it's barely light.
The laser stops over the fire instead of homing. Well,
stops over the fire.
I've had a laser shut down before when the flame detection tripped. And it's true, it does not home. It stays right where it stopped.
Yeah, I think they do that for a reason, right? It's so that if you go in there and look and go, wait a minute, it's not burning, you can hit resume and just keep going. Because the flame detectors they err on the side of caution usually.
Yeah, especially if you like open the door and the sun shines in on your laser and it has flame detection, it'll trip it. It's the sun hitting it will trip it.
Yes. I have that problem with my garage door opener.
Yeah.
At certain times of the day, just before Christmas, the sun is really low on the horizon, and about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I can't close the garage door for about an hour. Chris says, I think the XL laser is trying to solve everyone's problem, but makes it harder if you're not having any problems. That's a good summary, I think. They claim it's faster. I don't know. But Phelps says he has the One Laser XRF, and I've really been liking it. Epilogue, that's the one I was thinking of. Yes. I don't know what the price of the One Laser is. It's probably, I mean, if they want to compete in the hobby small business market, it better be something close to a CO2 laser. But yeah, everybody is aware of Epilogue, except me.
Oh, the new laser cutter welder cleaner units are pretty nuts. You guys check out any of those yet? Xtool is selling them, yeah. And I went through the whole thing about trying to get them to send me one review, but because of all the crap I had to go through, I just finally gave up on it.
Yeah, I've turned them down more often than not. The only one I'd really be interested in looking at is the metal fab, but I'm not sure I have enough room in my shop for it.
Well, I don't either really, but
It's pretty
they
big.
wanted to see examples of the metalwork you did and stuff, and
Yeah, Xtool is shipping the metal fab now, so. Xtool P2. It's honeycomb that came with it. You got a honeycomb with your P2? I still have the aluminum rails that are about an inch apart, which means anything you cut that's small is down in the junk tray at the bottom, and you have to go sift through it. I would like to get a honeycomb for it, but yeah, most of the things I cut don't qualify as too small. So Xtool's coming out with a UV printer. This is Santa saying they're working to corner the maker market. Well, sure, everybody would love to have that problem, right? Do you think it's going to kill other companies or create more competition? Well, the UV printer market is going to get interesting this year because in addition to UV Make, we have Longer. Pro Colored is coming out with one. Xtool, probably a couple of others. So pretty soon these things will be too cheap to.
They'll be household appliances just like the lasers are.
Yeah. The very brief thing I've seen on the Xtool, it looks okay. It looks impressive, but they all look impressive when you start playing with UV printing. The question is how quickly can they get to market? Chris says I tend not to go too close. Yeah, it comes to overscan. Yeah, if you're doing graphics, you can't get too close to the left edge anyway because you have to do the overscan and you just get errors. Happens to me all the time as I try to save a little bit of material. Belf says the current price of the XRF is $4,700. That's not bad. I don't know how many watts that is, but I guess the real question is this RF laser going to make you throw away some UV laser that you have or CO2 laser that you have in your shop?
Yeah, Spectrum Reality is saying that something should be the light burn is the ability to resume jobs when they fail, or if the power goes out or whatnot. Correct a few things because of power failure. Yeah, I've had that happen before too.
So this isn't a problem in light burn per se, because typically when you hit start on light burn, it dumps the whole job over to the printer. Not always, but most printers can handle enough G code that they can just load the whole job. So really what you need is resume on the laser, and there are a few lasers that have auto resume.
That's one of the nice things that came out with the 3D printers, later ones here, is if you have a power outage or something happens, you can resume printing. And for the most part, you can't ever tell where that happened.
Yeah. As I discovered, that's the same process they use when you run out of filament.
Yeah.
I actually did that, and I was about probably 3 feet of filament on the spool too short because I had to load a new spool, but I couldn't see where it ended and where the new spool started. So Chris says Spectrum of Reality, you can in preview scroll to restart to the restart point and start from there. Yeah, but odds are really good that the laser will already have the whole thing in memory. So
The problem I have with trying to restart things on a laser with your power outage and doing that is it doesn't always come out exactly where it's supposed to.
yeah. Tim says he got his E1 rotary today, and the laminator's on the way. Still no printer though. My printer, just before we came online here, my printer, which is over in my shop, sent me a message and said it was something happened to it. So hopefully it's not oozing ink all over the floor in my shop. He told me to restart it. Left you a link in a private message for the P3 honeycomb. I don't know if the P3 will fit in my laser. I think it's bigger. 38 watt XRF is equivalent to about a 60 watt CO2. Yeah, this is the big difference, is the dot size is much smaller on an RF laser than a regular CO2. And we're at the end of the comments.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's good because I got to step away for a minute because nature calls.
Geez, you're going to leave me all alone.
Well,
with no questions in the queue. Why didn't you go 5 minutes ago? So feel free to ask some questions. I will show, since we're waiting here, I will show you what I 3D printed this week. This is a massive, it's actually full of components, integrated circuits and things that I'm trying to clean up my shop. I've got little boxes of parts scattered everywhere. That was all done on the Bamboo H2D. Many hours of printing, which is one of the reasons my printer has 1,000 hours on it already. Yeah, if you get into multi-board stuff, multi-board and Gridfinity on 3D printers, you can organize your whole life. I'm still trying, but they have a really nice designer for it, and there's a million different parts for it. You can put hangers, you can hang things on the wall. The back of this thing actually has all these little mounts on it, and those you can put into multi-board wall mount stuff. A 75-inch monitor has arrived. This is Chris. Now I can replace 4 monitors. Have you thought about when you want to maximize a window, Chris? This is one of the reasons why I never got rid of my separate monitors and got one of those big curved things, because when you maximize a window, it takes up the whole monitor instead of right now I can maximize 2 different applications on 2 different monitors. But 75 inches is nice for people like me who are visually impaired as we get older. Velf asks an interesting question. If you're back on yet, Roger. Speak to me, Roger. I don't
What's the
think
most expensive mistake you made with a laser? Well, there's a few of them.
so. Go ahead.
I would say I was engraving some jewelry, and I made them. It did not. Fortunately, it wasn't gold. It was just silver, but and it was on a rotary inside of a ring, and it blurred. There's no way to correct that.
Hmm.
And fortunately, the person I was doing it for understood and kind of more or less forgave me for it. But it was blurry text.
I had somebody just recently, actually, somebody from the Netherlands, I think, Northern Europe anyway, asked me if I would engrave a high-end gold watch. And because they couldn't find anyone else to do it. And I explained the reason you can't find anybody else to do it is because it's a gold watch. And no one wants to touch that thing, right? Because if you screw it up, it's bad news. What is that thing?
Well, this is a 3D printed 4-color pontoon boat.
Oh, it's done. Where'd you get that model?
On
Maker World.
Maker World.
Yeah.
I saw it. I thought that's kind of cool. So it's all 4-color. And
does it float?
Well, I haven't tried that yet. I just pulled it off the HTC there.
I thought maybe the instructions in the description would have told you. I haven't really made huge mistakes. I've prevented a few huge mistakes. The whole 600 watch band debacle that I was working on, and I saw in a CO2 laser, I saw things going very badly, and like an idiot, I stuck my arm in there, and for the longest time last year, I had this interesting scar as because I stuck my arm through the beam path before it went into the lens. I did save the watch bands, however, and they weren't my watch bands, which is why I took the risk. But it wasn't expensive, but it was a painful mistake.
I did make a mistake here just last year with doing a whole bunch of bottle openers for a country club that was doing a golf outing, and I was engraving, the golf outing and a date and all that kind of stuff. And for about half of them, I didn't have it centered on the bottle opener. So I ended up throwing like 40 bottle openers away because I did a whole batch at once.
Stainless steel or plastic bottle openers?
They were aluminum with, anodized aluminum. So, I mean, it wasn't that much of an expensive thing. It just ticked me off.
Yeah, no kidding. Santa's drinking from the fire hose here. Yagi, Thingiverse, Maker World, Grid Hub.
Oh yeah,
there's no end.
Design bottles is another one.
Yeah, there's so many of them. Cults 3D. There's Thangs, yeah. Yep. Printables. The good news is that you can probably find anything you wanna look for. I still lean into designing things myself, but for some stuff like those dry boxes for AMSs, I'm not going to go design that. It's too much work.
No, not when they're already there.
What was I going to do? Oh, I needed a new handle for my snow shovel, so I was going to design one. And I went to Maker World, and there was I searched for shovel handle, and there was 500 of them. So, I'm not going to design one of these. So I just picked the first one that would fit my shovel handle and printed it. Works well, but it took away some of my fun. Okay, Chris is splitting into four screens. He's Vumaxing.
Been addicted to Gridfinity lately. Did all kinds of cool stuff for my kitchen.
Yeah,
the other thing you could get addicted to is So I can get my camera to pull around. Whoop, the other way.
Yeah, you did a wall thing, right?
Yeah, I did a whole wall of HSW, which is like multi-board. But yeah, you can go down the rabbit hole there too, real easy.
Yep. That's part of the charm.
Well, the other thing I did was printed a filament rack. If I can get this zoomed out. So I can put all my filament on a rack here. And that's just, it's all 3D printed with half-inch conduit holding the filament things up. That worked real well.
I built, I was just going to bring up my printer carts here. Let me show you these. These are the ones I was going to, well, I'll send the design to Rick because he's got an H2D as well. Is that sharing? Yeah, okay. So I don't know how to turn off all these windows, but there's actually two racks here, and you can see in the one on the left, there's more of this orange drawer stuff, the multi-board.
Yeah.
I built this. The one on the left is the new one with it has my H2D in it, but I built that one because I wanted to put my AMS side by side. The other one, there's actually an AMS above the one on the right, so there's two of them. But the drawers underneath hold, I don't know, about 20. They each hold at least 12 spools. So, and on the right, I think there are only 8 spools in each drawer. But that's where I store stuff. If I have more spools than that, which I almost did today, when a big order came in, I'll just store them on a shelf someplace. Yeah, I don't know how to stop sharing anymore. Oh, this is crazy. Geez, we might have to look at. Oh, here it is. Okay. They keep shuffling things around here on StreamYard.
Well, my filament all goes on a shelf above me here, and it is. I mean, it's way down the wall. There's a lot of
it. Yeah, I had the FedEx guy dropped off a box today of, I don't know, about 20 rolls of filament. He was grunting the whole way over to my shop door, so I kind of felt bad. But sorry, David, I did skip your question. What are the good reasons not to get a used FlashForge? I don't know. They're not that great. Depends. Is it like one of the 20-year-old FlashForges? I was just going to go and see what they have. Oh, well, if it's an 80X5 or an 85X. Oh, a FlashForge laser. Does FlashForge make lasers? No. Oh, look at that. They do. No, they don't. Google corrected FlashForge laser when I set it up and turned it to Glowforge laser. Surely that's what you meant. If the answer is Glowforge, don't buy a Glowforge laser, new or used. Clarify there, David. Did you mean a laser or a 3D printer? And if it's a laser, it's not a FlashForge. So which one is it? I need to go back to where he was. Oh, here we go. Expensive mistakes. Any Yeti tumblers? I don't do tumblers, Tim.
And I don't mess with Yeti tumblers at all. So
yeah,
that's just overpriced. You're paying for the name.
Yeah, I've only done a handful of Yeti tumblers, and they're usually like one-offs. And every time I have to buy some Yeti tumblers to do this stuff, I look at them and go, why are these things so damn expensive? Yeah, it's almost overload with so many. Santa. Gold jewelry. Chris is saying gold jewelry, but customers sign a waiver before I start. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to do something like that because you screw it up and they're going to go, well, this belonged to my great grandparents and you've messed it up. It's like, well, I can't replace that, right?
That's one of the things with the Lumos I have, that when I got it from Recreate, they asked me if I could show something done in gold. I says, unless you got some gold bullion laying around,
Yeah.
you want me to engrave it? I don't have any.
Yeah, just say I didn't see that gold bar in the sample box, but by all means, send it along.
No.
Yeah, so Spectrum of Reality says it would be great if companies put a camera in with crosshairs in it right in the laser head. So the Alien Cell has much better positioning. The reason I was interested in it was because it has much better positioning than almost any other laser I've seen. I'll find out if that's true or whether it's just good marketing, but that was my interest in it. And it does have a camera in it someplace. Yeah, I don't know why they haven't really gotten into embedded cameras. In part, I think because Lightburn camera support is so terrible. Like, why put a camera in when you're going to struggle with it?
Okay, Randy is saying not printing jigs with PLA. Do they warp over time? Just not as strong as PET G. When they absorb moisture, they become brittle, and their size can change slightly. They like swell up a little bit. That's why I stick with PET G or ABS on, or ASA rather, on jigs.
Yeah, that's weird though, because PET G absorbs moisture more readily than PLA does.
They don't seem to get brittle though.
No. Well, I don't run around flexing jigs anyway, just to see if they're still strong. But I haven't really had any problem with PLA jigs. But I mean, I don't make too much in volume, so I don't. If a jig lasts me like 2 jobs, maybe that's a long life for a jig in my shop. Chris says, Rado, PLA was just warping due to being in a tin shed. Worked fine all spring and all winter and spring.
Yeah, when you get into the summertime, you get higher humidity and you get moisture in that, you can get all kinds of problems. PLA.
Yeah, I guess, is it warping because it's in a tin shed, which is like an oven when it's 54 Celsius, or
Yeah. Oh, so they always say nice rack. Somebody has to say it. Thanks.
yeah.
So Santa's laser grading. So with the rack you showed, I see where people put their filament in a plastic container. Any reason to do that, or just rack them up like you do and then dry before use? I just rack them up and throw them in the dryer before I use them.
Yeah, I tend to be in more of a rush because it's going to take 4 or 5 hours to dry it, right? So I usually put them in just big Ziploc bags and throw them in the cabinet, and then I only dry them for an hour or so, half an hour.
And I don't really keep all that much on my rack. It's just like partial spools from different things. But most of the filament I have is full spools, and they're still sealed in the factory boxes and bags with the desiccant and everything. Of course, that doesn't mean they're perfectly dry, but they're pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, they tend. So I put a couple in my AMS today, and the humidity in there within 20 minutes jumped from 0 to about 13%. So they're definitely not dry.
Yeah.
But they're good enough.
Well, great. Just have to head out. Great stream.
Yeah.
As always,
Thanks.
guys, thank you for watching.
Thanks for coming out, Bill. 1 kilogram bar would be nice. Yeah, you need a good big sample to make sure that you get the thing engraving properly. And hopefully like there's some gold engraver who really wants something done. Keep the tip. Apparently there's 3D printers now that print carbon fiber. Yes, there are.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I had one in that photo. There was one sitting on the floor just to the right of those, the Fiber Seeker 3, which, I've heard people made comments to me about it because, the argument is, well, you're only putting carbon fiber in one direction. Yeah, but when you do carbon fiber in any other process, it's in one direction too. So it's I don't know. It's not to make better carbon fiber parts. It's to make carbon fiber parts faster. And because carbon fiber production process is a fairly long, painful thing. It's not like stamping out a million keychains or something. So, but yeah, the Fiber Seeker 3, check that one out. I did a review on it, or a video, not so much a review, but not that long ago. It's just coming out of Kickstarter now. Now they've made a couple of interesting improvements since mine. I have a version 1. Actually, it's a prototype, so it's technically version 0. And during Kickstarter, they're up to version 3 now. They've made a few improvements, better part cooling, and they improved something in the nozzle for the carbon fiber side to make sure that the carbon fiber stays right in the middle of the filament. It's only a matter of time, though, before there's others.
Yeah, so Chris is saying racking the open rolls depend on controlled environment. Because I'm in the basement of our house with my print farm, it is controlled down here. In the wintertime, the humidity is extremely low. And in the summertime, it's air conditioned, so the humidity is still kept reasonable. But I do still dry my filament before I print with it.
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to. I didn't really appreciate how much better dry filament prints, because back in the early days nobody thought about drying filament. You bought a roll and you printed with it until it was gone, and you worried about the stringing, you just blamed the printer for that, right? But now it's when you dry things, there's so much better on any printer, not even necessarily like a bamboo.
Especially if you're doing something in vase mode and your PLA, for example, isn't dry, you get these little blister bubbles that'll pop.
Yeah.
And it'll look like hell on your print.
Yeah, I've seen those in nylon.
Oh yeah,
like nylon is brutal. Like it literally boils in the nozzle, right? David says he stopped by a friend's place today who uses a food dehydrator for filament. I have used a food dehydrator in the past. Works okay. The difference is, so it's not a case of whether there's things that can dry your filament. It's a case of timing or just managing the thing. Like if you have a filament dryer, an actual filament dryer, you put the filament in there and you push the start button and you go away for 10 hours. But dehydrators take a long time. And
there's a channel called Samcraft.
Yep.
He uses a big commercial food dehydrator to dry his filament before he puts it on his printer.
Yeah. I just put mine in the microwave. it's 10 minutes and you're back in action, right? So but lots of people use dehydrators. If anyone wants one, I got one sitting in my loft, the one I used to use. There are different CF filaments, some CF fragments, some expensive continuous. Yeah, so the CF, I came across a channel a couple of weeks ago. The guy is obviously like some kind of scientist, because he did an exhaustive test with, and he has a scanning electron microscope, and he was checking out carbon fiber filament, like the one with fragments in it, and he basically said it's all a scam. But definitely the continuous fiber. I mean, I personally have used carbon fiber filament with fragments in it. Seems a little stronger, but continuous carbon fiber, when you put it in a 3D printer along the axis of printing, it's stronger than aluminum. Like it's 900 megapascals or something, whereas a normal PLA type 3D print is about less than 1 megapascal. So it's substantially stronger with continuous fiber. But the CF fiber, I think, brings regular 3D printing up to about 10 megapascals. So 10 times better than normal, but not 900 times better.
Would a welding rod box work for drying filament? If you control the temperature, yes.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, it probably would work.
Yeah.
Santa says, one final 3D question for tonight in the big rabbit hole. Which abrasive filaments need the steel head?
Carbon fiber and wood.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any of the engineering fibers filaments, don't use those. Stick with PLA, PETG, ABS if you feel brave and you got good ventilation, and TPU if you want to experiment with some flexible stuff.
Well, ASA is pretty good and doesn't have the fumes that ABS does.
That's true. I was printing some. This is one of these hard lessons you learn, right? So I made these little inserts for Sunlu spools, so that I could get a refill, a bamboo refill. Well, no, I could use Sunlu filament, but I could put the bamboo RFID tag in it, and they just kind of pressure fit into the hole in the center of the Sunlu spool. But when you run it through a drying cycle a couple of times, the printed with PLA, it develops memory, and the things eventually fall out because they just have shrunk down at some point. They just don't have any spring in them. They're tension, right? I should have brought one of those to show. And I print those with ABS now, because ABS doesn't develop memory when you heat it a bit. But ASA is probably even better than ABS for that. I should buy a roll of ABS ASA for that. Daniel says carbon fiber and glass fiber modified filament is good for aesthetics and it warps less. Yeah, I'd buy that. It's not a lot stronger than regular filament, though. Not the stuff with the little chunks in it. And if I find this video, I'll post it someplace, maybe in our Facebook group. But when this guy put that stuff with the small chunks of carbon fiber in it under an electron microscope, you could see the plastic for the filament just kind of separated away, and you had all these little filaments sticking out with nothing around them. They're literally floating in space. So he said there's no extra strength with CF fiber. So, and I don't have a scanning electron microscope in my shop to either refute them or verify it. So I have to believe them.
Oh, here's one Canadian related.
Oh. If you heat with wood or a boiler, your shop should be pretty dry in the winter. In the summer, it's a different story. Here in Ontario, it's humid. I used to live in Ontario, and it's definitely, there's two seasons, too hot and too cold. And when it's too hot, it's too humid, and when it's too cold, it's too dry. There's places where you can live where humidity is going to kill you. Like if you live on the West Coast in Portland, you're probably going to run into moisture problems. I'm really shocked that I don't run into more moisture problems here, because the Atlantic Ocean is about 2 miles that way. But it seems to be fine. My shop is, the humidity is, let me just look right now. Live data. It's 35% in my shop right now, which is insanely dry to work in all day. One terrible. All these people picking on poor Canadians living in the cold. I will say I still have no snow. I've heard that
Dave is saying, I've heard that PLA Tough is as good as Pet G. Is that true? Who handles it? I've used PLA Tough and PLA Plus. I don't think it is quite as tough as Pet G.
Yeah, I don't.
That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Pet G, it never gets brittle. And it doesn't develop a whole lot of memory if it's flexed a bit.
And it's UV resistant, whereas PLA is not.
And you can leave it outside, yeah. Glow in the dark. I debated getting a roll of glow in the dark filament.
Well, I've played with that. It's fun.
I just don't know what I would use it for. That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, you want to get like, what's the what's the standard hot end in a bamboo? It's like
stainless steel. Yeah, it's a hardened stainless steel.
Yeah, I think the ones in the H2C are tungsten. Do you like how that H2C heats up? At least the right nozzle.
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah, induction. I do wonder why they didn't put, since they have to have a different hot end anyway, why they didn't put them on both nozzles.
Yeah.
Like, why leave the H2D standard heater type on one side?
The left nozzle is still the standard type nozzle and doesn't heat up anywhere near as fast as that induction one does.
Like I'd like to upgrade both of my 3D printers so they're just induction. That's the next wave for sure. Everybody's going to have induction heating in nozzles pretty soon.
Chris says I use a hardened nozzle by default to be safe, and I did that too, even when I still had my Creality printers. I don't have any of them anymore, but I always put the hardened nozzles on
them. Someone from Creality reached out to me this week, yesterday, day before. Creality is going to work on a filament recycling tool, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Given that I've got boxes full of old PLA prints, I would like to make rolls of some really obscure color of PLA just for prototyping stuff. Yeah. My DTF printer was always a problem. I literally, every time I walked by my DTF printer, I hit the head cleaning button on it until somebody came along and said, "Hey, I want a DTF printer." It's like, here, take this one. Yeah, I don't know all these automatic ones like the Longer and the the new Pro Colored ones. The X-Tool apparel printer. I don't know how they handle like a dry environment outside of the printer. I haven't heard. Well, I guess you have one, Tim. Is it dry in your shop? And does your apparel printer seize up?
I don't have a DTF. I've got a sublimation printer.
No, but Tim does.
Oh,
He was asking that question about the or making that statement about the DTF printer.
now Chris said he's lucky. He's got his humidity is 15 to 25% year round.
Yeah, yeah. You're dying for a glass of water.
No,
I thought like Chris, you said you lived in Perth or somewhere, right? I thought it was pretty temperate there.
glow in the dark frisbees.
Yeah, I could do that, but then I'd have to throw them. I don't have a dog big enough for a frisbee. Yeah, no, these ones on the H2C, the right nozzle is induction, and I mean, the thing heats up in like 5 seconds from like room temperature to 250 Celsius. Like it's crazy how fast it is. And it would just be nice if both nozzles were that way. Yes, this is the one. I built the thing. Is the name of the guy's channel. 3D printing's biggest scam. Yeah, it's a good video. The guy, like I said, the guy's like a PhD of something. He's clearly a science dude because he's got access to all kinds of equipment that would be the envy of anybody.
And to answer the second part of the question is with glow in the dark filament, you do not need a hard nozzle. It's just PLA.
Yeah, with some glow in the dark juice in it.
Yeah.
Now we're at the end of our question queue again. How's your were you printing anything so after your pontoon boat? Did you start another job on your H2C?
No, I haven't. It's just sitting there right now. I'll start a new one before I go to bed tonight. I've got all these risers to make, and
yeah, while you were gone, I showed the growing stack of multi-board bins that I've been building. I had in this closet right here, there's like mountains of electronic components, switches, a million different kinds of integrated circuits. And I got tired of them all in little boxes because I couldn't find anything. So I printed a bunch of multi-board bins, and I spent all morning yesterday sorting out chips and putting them in little bins. But it's definitely going to make my closet a whole lot neater. It's glow in the dark. Glow in the dark powder. I don't know. Is that true?
I don't know. I run them through brass nozzles. This is back when I was still running Creality printers, and
yeah, they've had glow in the dark filament long before they had steel nozzles.
I never had any problem with it.
Old printers, usually something died anyway before too long, and you had to replace hot ends. So you probably didn't notice. If I was the same distance north of Perth instead of south, the average humidity would be 15 to 40. The luck of geography. Oh, so you're on the fringe. You're close to the desert then. There. This is the answer I was looking for. The X-Tool apparel printer requires the room to be 50 to 80% humidity. And yes, if it goes below 40%, you get issues. Had to buy the WA evaporative humidifier to get the shop to 50. Without it, it's around 35. Yeah, so you got the same problem I have. I was because I got like lumber stored in my shop too, and if I make anything with it at 35% and give it to somebody, the first week, the thing is going to explode because it's going to absorb water and everything will be under pressure, right? So I have to get the humidity up. Maybe the new stuff changed. This is the glow in the dark filament. But Airy One glow in the dark from a few years back blew through a brass nozzle on my Ender 3 with a 200 gram print. Huh.
Well, it could be. Like I say, I never had any problem with it. I've run a few brass nozzles for so I think I was using filament from Tech Bears. But
Yeah, mist humidifier. Like, it's not bad in my house. Like in my studio right now, it's 52%, but the rest of the house is 61%. The advantages of home automation, I have like environmental controls in all the rooms, so I can see, because I have very imbalanced heating and humidity in my house.
hey, ABM's asking, do you guys know anything about leather crafting with real leather? I've done that.
Yeah.
Or anything about real leather? I've done it, and I've done a lot of embossing and stamping and playing around and lacing and stuff with leather over the years. What I don't like to do is cut leather on a laser.
Yeah. Well, so I was going to show you. So this, and you probably can't see it, but is a keychain. But on the edge of this, it looks like it was cut with a knife. That was done with the X-Tool UV laser. No smell.
Oh,
But any other laser, yeah, when you start cutting leather, keep a bucket close to your laser because you're going to need it, because it smells really bad.
yeah.
Like it's gut wrenching. It's not just the smell of cooking meat; it's the smell of rotten cooking meat. But yeah. I mean, with a UV laser, working with leather's fine. With a diode laser or a CO2 laser, not so much. You need incredible ventilation, otherwise it's gonna make you sick. Spectrum of Reality says, since I have a river right in front of my house, I'm thinking about laser cutting a mini wooden jet boat hull and assembling it using epoxy zip tie method.
Well,
as long as the river is not, doesn't have a huge current, just in case the jet boat hull doesn't hold. Yeah. Next thing you know, you're a face on the news, missing person. Sounds like a fun project, though.
yeah. Santa says I'm printing my first overnight Millennium Falcon. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, back in the good old days, I remember, you didn't dare leave a printer on even when you left the room because the things were just like a fire hazard. All the new printers are so much better. They've actually done some real work to make them safe for the environment, not just for themselves. It's a winter project, the speedboat. Well, we got to see some photos on the Facebook group when that speedboat takes the water. Yeah, Chris has the formula right. Heat plus leather equals gas mask.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah, it can be pretty nauseous.
Oh, those leatherettes stink too. Well, this is what I call pleather. The problem is with leatherette, a lot of it's vinyl, and when you cut or engrave that, it releases chlorine gas, which is not only deadly for you to breathe, it'll corrode absolutely everything on your laser.
Yeah, if you're using leatherette, make sure it's laser safe.
Yeah.
So not PVC. As I tell people, the C in PVC is chlorine.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Now, polyvinyl chlorine.
Now, again, you can engrave PVC with a UV laser without endangering yourself or the laser.
Now, Spectrum Reality is saying there's some videos of guys here on YouTube that have made some mini wooden boats. Check them out.
when you say mini, I assume you can still sit in it, like it's a
Or
one-person jet boat.
well, I was thinking more like RC boat, you know.
Yeah,
But
I back in my youth, I had a radio control boat. Then I moved to planes. Planes were more fun because you get that extra dimension.
yeah, Santa's getting a head start on next year.
Wow. Printing a Millennium Falcon, it might take till next year. That's one of those 20-hour prints, I think. We don't censor our Facebook group. I mean, try to keep it polite, but I've been banned so many times they want me to scan my face. Yes. This is the prove you're a person. Well, if I wasn't a person, I wouldn't be emitting profanity.
Oh, one person votes, huh? I don't know.
Well, you don't need a big motor if it's only one person. 8 foot long. That sounds like more of a job for a table saw than a laser or a 3D
And it
printer.
doesn't sound like something I'd want to take out of the Mississippi River here.
No, you see, that's one of those rivers where you definitely don't want to put an unknown craft.
No.
But because they'll never find your body in the mud. Yeah, so Chris says he's got a stack of pleather left over from the cricket days. The cricket pleather is undoubtedly PVC.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cricket's still sitting over there, but I haven't. It hasn't been plugged in for like a year.
Yeah, there was a woman that printed a life-size bench big enough for her to stand in. Yes, I watched that video.
Yeah.
And she actually tried to sail it. Didn't work out too well the first time, but
yeah, you need some darn good glue to hold all those little panels together. Yeah, you should use a Sea-Doo engine, or just use the Sea-Doo and not worry about building your own boat. Where are we? What time is it? Well, we got about 10 minutes left, so nothing left in the queue.
Yeah, if you got any questions or comments, fire them our way.
So Jim Hamilton, who's on here, he asked me an interesting question the other day about how we all came together on this channel. I don't know. I told him my story was pretty boring. I just got an email from Rick saying, "Hey, do you want to do a live stream?" And I thought he was a lunatic at first because you get all these crazy things in email quite often. And then I thought about it for a couple of days, and I said yes.
That's the same with me. I thought, who the hell is this?
I didn't know if maybe you had a more compelling story than mine, but
no.
Yeah, it was. There was really nothing there other than, I'm dumb enough to try this, and and off we went. All the best says, I'm glad I asked. I was thinking that I could laser real leather with most lasers, and you can.
Yeah, it just stinks.
But you just need to be in a crazy, ventilated area.
Stay upwind.
Yeah, but definitely you got to be careful with anything that's fake leather.
Yeah, Tim says I would not be so broke if you hadn't done these. Went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's how life is.
Spectral Reality says I appreciate you guys and what you do here, man. Straight up. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I just gotta get back to it.
Yeah.
I did actually record some video today. I recorded 1 minute and 38 seconds of video before today was just a busy day I had about 6 different deliveries coming and my shop. Every time I was about to get back to work on video, I saw a shiny light and I had to go chase it for a while. Yeah, that's what addiction does to you, Tim.
Yep.
The first one is free, and after that, we name the price.
So I have the Rolly Lasermatic at the moment, but it breaks down. What laser do you recommend? It's closer to Lasermatic. I am not familiar with the Rolly lasers. I've never had one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rolly's gone now. But so first of all, if it breaks down, odds are really good you can just find parts for it on Amazon, because they don't use anything out of the ordinary. The laser module itself might be a little bit of a challenge, but if you needed a laser module, go look at Laser Tree or something, and you can pick up a replacement. I don't know what's close to a Rolly. Like, Rolly had carved out an interesting niche in the market, and they pushed innovation a bit, and no one really kind of kept up with them. So, I don't know. There's not a lot. I mean, lots of lasers have kind of come up to where Rolly was, so I don't know that there's one that stands out especially. But somebody mentioned the Creality A1. That's very much like a Lasermatic. An Acmer P3. If you got a little more budget, maybe an X-Tool S1. There's anything with an enclosure, you're probably okay. Yeah, I don't have anything to sell you, Tim. You're welcome to come for a free coffee, and I won't sell you anything.
So Spectrum Reality said, "You guys figure all these lasers come out of the same factory with different branding, or what?" Some of the, I will say, what I will call generic lasers, they're probably all coming out of the same factory in Shenzhen. But things like X-Tool and Atom Stack and
Atom Stack makes about 5 different companies' names of lasers, right? iCure, there's a few others that are all Atom Stacks. Like, they sell aftermarket for a lot of things, for a lot of companies, and they're probably the biggest, kind of gun for hire in the business, right? They make lasers for everybody. A lot of third-party parts. Rolly tended to use more open source stuff, so you can buy a lot of the parts for those on Amazon. Probably everything but the laser module itself.
So Santa's saying, getting out here for the night. Great show. Appreciate all the info.
Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
I'll let you know on the alien cell. I'll have one of those in the next couple days. Yeah, guitars are like that. There's one factory that builds almost all of them. That's true of all of the things. Hey, there's Clack. Clack's in Vegas. He's at CES. I wasn't. X-Tool asked me if I was going to go down, and I gracefully declined.
Yeah, I declined it too because of my situation here with my wife. But.
Well, I was more afraid that I was going to get arrested at the border for something. Oh. It's tough. It's tough to get into your country these days. This is the same with all of these things. Filament for 3D printers, there's really only a handful of companies. Laser modules, stepper motors, all the driveline stuff, like linear rails and stuff, they all come out of the same place. Oh, we missed Jack in the shop. Jack in the shop just arrived.
Yep. Hey.
You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, Clack's having a good time in Vegas. Been out there watching the showgirls.
Yeah, it's just Vegas is so expensive now.
No, Clack says he came on his own.
Spending real money.
Yeah, X-Tool sent me an invitation, and because of my situation, I had to turn it down.
Yeah, in different times I would have went down, but it's just not a good time these days. Yeah, not me, Steve. This is Vintori. And Clack, say hi to him for us. Yeah, scan your face, take your fingerprints, and to enter the U.S. They were talking about putting some kind of a visa entry fee of like $15,000 or some crazy thing. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of nice places in the U.S., but I'm not willing to pay $15,000 for any of them. No, he's at CES, Tim. He's gonna find out all the new stuff before we do.
Yeah.
Clack, if you get a chance, go talk to the X-Tool guys about their new UV printer if you haven't seen it already. They have two of them out on the floor. One of them, I think, is just an empty shell, and then they have one in the back room where you can, by invitation only, you can go in there and have a look at it and get something printed on it. Chris says Canada should do the same to the U.S. Coming into Canada. Well, we're nice people.
Yeah, Claxy's already have been there since Saturday. Wow. Yeah, taking the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's probably from our industry perspective. That's probably the only real interesting thing there. Yeah, I saw one of the videos on YouTube. But I had a bit of a conversation with X-Tool before CES about their printer, and they were pretty secretive about some stuff. I'm not sure why, because guaranteed they're using the same print engine as almost everybody else. So, and we'll let Clack say hi, and we can call it a night since the queue's empty again. So hopefully Rick is back next week, and thanks for coming out. Anything you want to close with, Roger?
Well, after next week, I'll be here in Illinois for next week, but for the 2 weeks after that, I'll be in Mexico. If you can imagine that.
You're going to Mexico again?
Yep.
Oh, you can still join us.
Yep. Gotta get my tan back. I'm getting pretty pale.
Yeah. That's Chris saying. Even nice people can be pushed too far. Yeah. I could get really political and say the last time the Americans pushed us too far, we went to Washington and burned the White House down. But that was 150 years ago. All right. With that, we can wind down. So thanks for coming out, everybody. Have fun, Clack, in Vegas, and say hi to the X-Tool folks for me. And we'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yep. See you all next week.
Take care, all.